So this video is about Mythic Governor, and you can get him with your Mythic tokens in the museum. Once the Conquest update drops, you can get one of his gold Mythic characters for 142 Mythic tokens. If you do want to work out how many Mythic tokens you have, we are right now in beta, so the Conquest update will not be too far away, but it is always worthwhile just seeing how much you've got right now if you want to just make a last push for one of the future rewards. Do check out my calculator, which you should see a link to in the top right hand corner. But for now, we'll go on to the Governor video to see how good he is. Hello survivors, and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video. And in this video, we're going to be taking a first look at Governor, who is going to, of course, be getting a Mythic character nice, bright and early once Conquest update drops. We see his visuals on the right hand side. He is extremely armored up, as you can see. He is missing the arm, I believe. He's only got the one arm. He has got the eye patch on as well, and he is holding an SMG. He is also, in his armless arm, got his baby daughter strapped to his arm, and if we go across to the left-hand side, we can see she's the one who's pulling the trigger on the main art. This is probably... I don't know what to say here. I honestly just don't know what to say. This is probably one of the most... This is nightmare, fuel, basically. This is crazy. It did stand out the first time I saw it on the main art, I think, on one of the Conquest update previews. And yeah, now that you get to see it in like the full detail... It is pretty crazy indeed. It is pretty crazy. But it lives up to the Governor's like reputation and persona, I guess, in the Walking Dead world. If we look at his stats as a tier 5 gold mythic at level 600, he has 13,365 attack, 13,950 defense, and 14,507 HP. He is an alert character holding an SMG. He is considered a tank, and his stats are a little bit more defensive. A mythic character, of course. And his allegiance is part of Woodbury. I think he's the first character we've had from Woodbury, but that does mean, of course, we're likely to see more in the future. So we'll go across and look at his Adrenaline Rush. It is called Sweet Revenge. It's a 66 AP cost rush, so reasonably fast for the mythic characters. Deals 60% of this character's missing HP in main damage to 2 enemies. Those enemies get 15% of this character's attack in bleed damage for 2 turns. So obviously 2 parts of this, both parts being very offensive considering he is seen as a tank character. The first half can be devastating if he's down to like 20% HP and he has 20,000 HP. He's going to deal so much main damage in that case. However, he could potentially deal 0. If he has 100% HP, then there's going to be no main damage. There is sort of like downsides to his rush. The bleed will always happen though, and his base attack stat is around 13,000 or so. So it should be 2,000 bleed for 2 turns every single time this pops as a minimum. If he does get an attack buff, it does actually boost this up because it is about his current attack, not like his base. So any mods, any weapon bonuses, any actual buffs. So it's like if a character comes out and gives 60% attack buff, then he's going to get a 60% boost in that attack stat, and then a 15% of that 60% boost on top. So yeah, that's how it works with mods. That's how it's going to work with a lot of these characters that have their bleed damage reflective of their attack stats. Okay, so we are on the rush turn, as you can see, and I've taken a little bit of damage with Governor. He's lost about 4,000 HP. He is also getting a 30% attack buff because I have got a strong attacks weapon on one of my other teammates, and there are 3 strong characters here. I'm going to focus Jesus here, and the number you see pop up will be the main damage, which will be 2,592. That is precisely 60% of the missing HP that Governor had. It would obviously scale much higher if he lost like another 10,000. It would be another 6,000 damage on top. So the more HP Governor loses, the more damage he does with that. The bleed, however, is 3,257 by the looks of things. It hit both Jesus and Abraham. And this obviously scales off of his attack, including the buffs that he's had, like I said before. Okay, so this time around, I'm just going to show you how it works when it comes to him losing more HP. As you can see, he's lost around 10,000 HP this time around. So the main damage should be significantly higher. It should be in, close to 6k. There we go, 6.2k. And it's going to happen. It's going to keep happening. Like right now, if he was to rush right this second, he would do huge amounts of damage because he has over 20,000 HP on his base with the weapon included. You can see the 6,000 main damage that he did to Magna and Erica. This is unhealable damage. Remember, that's how main works. You have to cleanse the main to be able to heal back up that HP. So, quite an interesting rush indeed. You know, offensive, but on a tanky character. It can be terrible to deal with, obviously. If you are using him on an attack team, you are going to have full control of when this goes off. You can try and make it so that he is a bit more focused, you know, being the only alert trait and going up against a team that you know is more tough characters. He should get heavily focused because of that. On a defense team, you need to be very careful not to do too much damage to this guy too early on, unless you're going to take him out, you know. Otherwise, yeah, that main is going to one-shot two people. The amount of HP that he has, he could easily do, you know, 12,000 damage. You know, 20,000 HP, 60% of that is 12,000 damage. HP bonuses on top with multipliers from the lead skill, from weapon, from combat mods, everything in between. That's going to scale massively. 30,000 HP, 18,000 trauma damage. It's gonna be pretty hefty, the amount of damage you can put out with that. But of course, if you leave him alone, he just does nothing. So he can kind of be ignored and you're semi-safe. At least the way it stands right now. However, we'll take a look at other parts of his kit to see what those influence on that rush. His signature move is called You're Going Down With Me. It has an initial cooldown of 2, number of uses 999. Deal 20% of this character's max HP in damage to this character and one enemy. That is obviously quite interesting. He's going to cause damage to himself to buff his rush. That's really interesting. So if he's got 20,000 HP, he'll lose 4,000 HP because of a 20% loss. And then 60% of the 4,000 will be 2,400 main damage on his rush. Obviously, that's just off of those easy numbers. The higher his HP goes, the bigger that 20% is going to be, the bigger the 60% is going to be. If he does take damage from other sources, let's say someone's using a rampage weapon, he will take damage from that, and then that will obviously buff his rush as well. Okay, so we are on turn 2, and we will use his signature move. It is worth noting, and this is extremely interesting, signature moves give 35 AP. Governor currently has 30 AP, so he shouldn't be able to get a rush on his next turn, right? Well, actually, the 20% damage that he inflicts to himself is seen as like reflect damage, effectively, where he's actually going to gain AP based on the amount of HP he loses. He should only be getting 35 AP from using his signature move. However, when I swipe left, you'll see he gets over 35, 36 plus. He takes out the remaining HP that was on Jesus there, but he also has his rush for the next turn, as well as inflicting 20% damage to himself so that he actually does some main damage with that rush. So all round, I think this signature move is very interesting. I think it's one of the first times we've ever seen something like this. I think we did have a character once before. Someone's going to remember who it was, who did defense down to themselves. I think it might have even been like Earl, who did defense down to himself, but also attack up. One of the Earls, the fast Earl, I think. Someone will remember probably better than I do. That one didn't seem to be as well made, but this one is actually pretty nice. 20% isn't that crazy, honestly. And it does look like stacking HP on this character is a good way to go. So let's say you manage to get him to 40,000 HP. 20% would obviously be 8,000 HP off of him straight away, and then 60% of 8,000 is 4,800 main damage that you'd be able to deal just because of this signature move when you rush the next turn. I really like the fact that you gain AP as well from doing this, like actually self-inflicting the damage and giving yourself AP. That's a nice little bonus on top, especially on attack teams where AP is going to be very important. The most you can get out of that first turn is 30, and the second turn, normally the most you can get is 35. If you're a 66 AP character, you cannot get a natural turn 3 rush without an 8% weapon on the team or a percentage AP to self. However, Governor bypasses that because of this signature move. Works really nicely. Now I'll go across to his mythic abilities, the passives, which honestly I think kind of make or break a character in where they can be really heavily used. Attack, defense, that sort of thing. He is a tank, so he has got the 20% critical hit resistance. This is obviously good. It would stop him from basically getting a crit hit against him, and on tough characters it would stop that means teammates from getting rampage damage. It doesn't stop the governor from taking damage, it would just stop him from taking a little bit extra damage because of the crits, but I think this is good. He has a natural crosshairs resistance of 50%. This stacks with mods, so if you really wanted to, you could go in and give him a 50% mod plus, and it would have immunity to crosshairs. I wouldn't necessarily say that's the way to go, but you could see this as a really big bonus, because crosshairs is obviously extremely powerful. We have seen some characters that have crosshairs already. The next one is Governor's Revenge. When taken out, the attacker gets 12% of this character's attack stat in hemorrhage damage. This is interesting. We'll have to check out and see how this works. Is that initial hemorrhage? Does it start to scale like 300 a turn? No, it's going to be extremely interesting. But his attack stat is generally not going to be that high, and it's going to be around about 1500 hemorrhage damage just off the bat or something like that if you're using his base attack stat. But it does probably take attack buffs into account. The last one is Unstoppable Outlast. Again, there's always going to be part of a passive seemingly playing into a character's specialist skill if they have one, and he does have one. When entering the Outlast state, he has a 30% chance to recover all debuffs. This is really important for an Outlast character, because if you control an Outlast character and they go into Outlast, they can just not do their rush. You know, they're confused, they're just going to randomly basic attack someone. If they're impaired, they won't be able to rush. This is where the interesting part will come, is when does that 30% chance actually take place? Is it the 30% chance before, like so that he can cleanse the impaired, then get 100% AP? Or will it happen afterwards? So for instance, he'll go into Outlast state, try and gain 100% AP. If he's impaired, he won't, and then he'll cleanse it, and then he still won't be able to rush. We'll have to check this out, but that actually might take a little bit of testing. Okay, so we're going to come up against just pretty much the Governor on defense. I've got another character there, Jesus, just so that when I do take out Governor, he isn't just the end of the fight, so I can at least explain what's just happened. We're going to take a lot of tough characters in to try and do as much damage as possible. And we'll see if we can take him out nice and early. Are we taking him out? We did manage to take him out. He goes into Outlast, and you'll see that rush come off, and then you'll see the main damage be massive. And then who got the hemorrhage? It was the hemorrhage goes on to Alpha, because she got the last hit, and it's at 3000. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to impair the Governor, because I want to see if he actually can block the impair with his 30% chance to cleanse all debuffs. When does it come? Because when it goes into Outlast state, he gets 100% AP. Will the 100% AP be blocked, or will it not? We'll have to see. It'll take us a couple of turns to take him out. It doesn't matter that our Jesus has been taken out. Let's see what happens. 30% chance. Does he gain the AP? He did cleanse. I don't know if he's gained the AP. He is no longer impaired, but has he gained the AP? Let's have a little look. And the answer is no. He did not gain the AP. So if he is impaired when that actually happens, he will still not gain the AP. But if he is stunned, confused, or any other control, it will cleanse that control and he'll be able to rush like normal. So still extremely powerful mythic abilities, these passives. I love the Governor's Revenge. The last one is interesting. It does seem like Impair is the counter to this, but this obviously could change before official release. This is obviously in alpha and beta sort of stage of the game, where things can obviously get a little bit altered. But even if it is just Impair that stops this from happening, it is still extremely powerful. There are a lot of characters that will stun, taunt, confuse, and those will not be as reliable against Governor as an Outlast specialist. So we'll go across to look at the specialist skill just to give you a refresh on what it actually does. It is, of course, Outlast. I think there's going to be a lot of spoiler alerts in those passives every single time. But when this specialist is defeated, their death is delayed by 1 turn, during which they may still take an action, and they will receive 100% AP. Impair seems to be the only counter to this in terms of that passive, how it breaks through. It is only a 30% chance for that passive to happen. So Confuse, Stun, and all those goodies could still actually get things, you know, controlled for you when it comes to the Governor. But 30% of the time, he's going to break through and be able to do his rush. So that is obviously quite interesting. But it could potentially be a winning move as well. For instance, if you're in a 2 versus 1 versus the Governor, you have to control him when you take him out. Because if you don't, he will get that rush off, and then he could take down 2 of your characters. You saw how much he did, how much that main damage was when he was 0 HP, because that's what he would be in. He would be in Outlast state, he'd be in 0 HP, and that means 60% of his max HP, whatever it is. You know, for every 10,000 HP, he'd do 6,000 main damage. So 20,000, 12, 30,000, 18, so on and so forth. So it would just get heavier and heavier, and again, attack team characters can't really deal with this. You know, you're lucky if they'll be able to take, you know, a 13+K hit, because you're not normally going to raise their HP. Now we will go across to his base weapon, and it is Governor's Adaptable Uzi, and it has got 25% HP base, a medium bonus to AP when taking damage, and in the 3rd slot it has got stronger attacks when attacking, a better chance to attack with the stronger trait against the enemy. This is not a very good weapon when it comes to the actual base stats. He isn't going to be someone who actually does much in the way of attack damage anyway, so the stronger attacks is not going to be so effective. The HP is okay, but you're mainly got the character's weapon here for the visuals, and it looks okay. The visuals of this weapon is quite nice. You know, submachine gun, it looks cool. You're going to most likely want to give him as much HP as possible, still make him fairly susceptible to damage without being too controlled. So I'd say a stun on defense weapon, or a focus stun weapon, obviously, because if he gets focused, that means he cannot be taunted or confused, and that's going to help if he does go into that Outlast state. The absolute defense weapon we got from one of the battle passes, I'd say while it can give a lot of HP, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a way to go on Governor here. You want him to take damage, and you want it to proc that focus stun if you do have that as a nice special in the 3rd slot. Other than that, cleanse would be good on him, because even in an Outlast state he can still cleanse an effect, and that's going to be very, very frustrating to deal with when a character's in an Outlast state and they just cleanse that control and didn't hit that 30% on their passive, and he still does huge amounts of damage because he can get off that rush. So overall, I like Governor's kit quite a lot. It's something very fresh, something we haven't really seen in the way it's being built. It definitely had a chance to miss, because, you know, when you try and introduce something new, and especially self-inflicting, you know, moves, it can have the potential to be, you know, ill-received. But I think this guy is going to potentially be a really dangerous character, particularly I think on a defense team, mainly because a lot of the stuff that he deals out is like bleed, and that is really, really dangerous on defense teams. He does do main damage. You could potentially have like a payback character on attack, like Mr. Lou or something, early on with the Mythic characters, but I think way down the line, characters like Mr. Lou, even fully maxed out, will not last too long in the basic attack stages. So I don't think there's going to be much chance for payback to actually occur with that main damage on his rush. But you might think otherwise, guys. Do give me your thoughts about the Governor down in the comments. Do tell me what you think about his visuals. Where does he rank in the Mythic character visuals for you? That is going to be the end of my video today, guys. If you did enjoy it, if it was useful for you, please hit the like button. If you aren't subscribed to my channel, maybe think about hitting the subscribe button and support my channel. And if you are already supporting my channel by hitting subscribe, thank you so much. But make sure you do have your notifications turned on. Check that notification bell. Make sure it's changed to all, and you'll be told when all of my live streams go live, when all of my videos are released. That is going to be the end of my video, guys. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.